Hey everyone, so this is take two basically of me filming this video. First time I filmed it, we had some technical difficulties, so it's going to be a little bit different, but I am going to be doing a flip through of my MakseLife companion notebooks. The original video that I had filmed was about 30 minutes. I'm going to try and keep this one a little bit shorter. I kind of already know what I want to say because I've done this before, but basically I am using the companion notebook set and I am using the MakseLife folio in Luna. This folio is an A5 TN style folio with strings. It has 4 strings with the intention of holding 3 of their regular sized notebooks, plus the smaller, thinner notebook at the beginning of the companion notebook series. This is where you have your annual goals, your instructions, your word of the year, compass assessment, all in this one. So I am done with my first quarter. So I am going to just do a quick flip through and just kind of chat loosely as I do everything. And then I will show you my setup for my next quarter. So if you guys have been following me on this channel, you know that I was doing the 12-week year. So I outlined all of my ideas that I wanted for the first 12 weeks at the back of the companion notebook. And I basically went through and I used check series or a highlighting series to kind of determine what I had completed. And I kind of did that throughout the notebook as well. So I did not do anything at the very beginning of the notebook. I really don't ever do anything at the beginning of the notebook. And I did not use the monthly pages either. So I grabbed my ideas for my first monthly goals from the list of my 12 weeks. My 12 weeks I took from my annual goals. I basically just chose everything that I thought was going to be the highest priority and possibly things that would take the longest so I could start it right away. So I outlined all of my January. As you can see, based off of the stuff that I highlighted, I feel like I had a pretty productive January. And then I went straight into my weekly actions. And then these are the reflections for this week. And then after my reflections, I create my next weekly actions. The way I create my next weekly actions is I look at this to make sure nothing needs to come over. And then I put down all of the ideas for things that I want to complete that week. And then I have the reflections regarding this one. And then same process with this weekly actions. Usually about mid-month, I will go back to my January and check all of this to make sure that I am on a good speed of what I feel like is needed to complete these goals. Now, some of them are repeated weekly actions, and then occasionally I will check this every single week as well, but the majority of the time it's kind of like autopilot. I'm in my 4th year of this system, and so I kind of have my routines already set in place. Guys, can you finish? Then stay up in your room and play. So this is the last week in January where it switches over to February, and then I just have my monthly reflections here. And then again, I don't use my monthly spread, and then I come into my February. So in order for me to make my next month's goals, I will go through, and during my reflections, I will go through each week to just kind of use it as a trigger to see what I had completed. Again, I felt like I had an extremely productive January, and so I decided to kind of do a little bit low key of a February. A lot of the legwork was done in this month for setting up my future months in just kind of my year of things that I wanted to get done. And so I don't think that I actually even went back and highlighted some of this stuff because this was done. So I did quite a bit of it, but that's okay. So as far as routine for my monthly goals, I again go through this month, carry over anything that still needs to be completed. Prior to me completing these goals, I will refer again to my 12-week list And then from these months, I will go and do all of my weekly actions again based off of those months. And so again, just kind of flipping through. I had an extra week in here that I didn't need because February was not a 5-week month. I did my monthly reflections. I had some additional bullet journal type stuff here. And then again, March, I started to write on my weekly actions my deadline of my first 12 week because it's a little bit different than a traditional quarter. And so I started to write down my deadline for my actual 12 weeks. And I feel like overall I hit those deadlines the majority of the time. I'm pretty happy with how everything went in my first 12 weeks. My biggest focus was to create a will and trust for our family. I did, like I said, all of the legwork, the phone calls, the paperwork, getting everything together. I did all of that in the first 12 weeks. And then the next 12 weeks is going to be focused on like phase 2 basically of that. And so I have quite a bit more on my month of March than I did on my April. And my weekly actions look pretty busy because I'm trying to make sure that I get everything done prior to my deadline. I had a little bit of reflection kind of wonkiness here. I think I reflected on the wrong week. I don't even know. But this was my deadline and I did not make some of the deadlines, but that's okay. This was also spring break week. I essentially did nothing goals related. My parents came into town to spend time with the kids, and so I essentially just took that week off. And I think this is where I reflected on this week instead of doing it here. And I just wrote, when you do reflections on the wrong week, we decorate. So here I am in my second 12 week, which should have started on March 20th. And I did not necessarily outline like a 12-week thing again in this book. I did it in my next book, and I'll show you that in a second. So this is the last week of March right here, where we're turning into April. And again, I didn't use this last week here. And then I went into my April reflections at the end of this, at the end of every single one of the companion notebooks, because it's a quarter, you have another compass assessment. So with these compass assessments, I've had a lot of questions in the past of how do you do your compass assessment? Do you just subjectively rate it on how you're feeling, or do you go back and re-answer all of the original questions? And what I do is I go back and re-answer all of the original questions. And the reason I do that is, yes, it takes a little bit longer, but I have a kind of concrete template of what I am basing those scores off of. Sorry, that took like a second to kind of get out of my brain and into words. And so I went through and answered all of the questions again. I dropped in some areas. I mostly gained or stayed the same in some areas. You'll notice my work and learning. At the beginning of the year, I didn't even do work and learning because I was unsure on how I was going to use the category, whether it was a traditional work like my outside of the home work, or if I was going to use it for personal education. And so the reason my score is there this time is because I kind of decided to do a half and half. So I did my quarterly assessment, and then I did not use the rest of my note pages, and then I just jumped right into here. So with this, what I did is I did my 12-week layout. So I have March 20 to June 12. I did my 12-week layout a little bit different because I feel like this is a little bit more organized. The way I did it the first time, it still worked. It was functional, but it was just kind of like get it all down, and it didn't have to matter the order or anything. So in order for me to create this 12-week, I referred here first to carry over anything that needed to be done. So you'll notice my family will and trust. We have all of the plan done for it. We now need to just do the financial part of it. And then other things from this 12 weeks, I went back to my annual goals. And I pulled inspiration from my annual goals as well to create these 12 weeks. So now all of my plans for my weekly actions are going to be only in this book. So again, with my 12 weeks, I went through and I did all of my April goals here. And then from here, I went and I created my weekly actions. Now this is the week that we're in right now. I did get all of my movement goals, which I'm excited about. I did do a meal plan. This is next week, y'all. Well, apparently I'm going to do all of my movement goals. I did actually do my meal plan. So 1 second, because today is not the 3rd yet. This is today. So yes, 0 red meat, done, 5 vegetables a day. I didn't put a specific time frame on it, but I was tracking it in my bullet journal, and I did it at a minimum of 5 vegetables a day for at least 4 days. And for me, I feel like that's great. I did a lot of movement. I got, so let's just write 4 days here, and my movement, I actually hit for 5 days. So that was pretty exciting. I did call the lawyer. I did attend to jury duty. I did do my ClubMakse, and I did my JMB journal every single day this week. We did our savings. I did not do. And then this I had to reschedule because of jury duty. Ooh, this pen is like Skippy. Ugh, this is not a good pen. I don't like this pen. It's the, whatever this is. Do not recommend. Birthday phone calls, did it. Keep trying Sierra, did it. Contact lawyer, did it. I put it up there as well. I did not, oh gosh, I didn't do either of these, y'all. Oh, but you know what I did do is I did my yard work. Oh my gosh, pen. I did my mowing and weed and feed. So I did do that. Yay me. Oh God, this pen is awful. Okay, so now this book is officially complete, but now I am obligated to get my movement in for this coming up week. So this is the coming up week because I do have all of my first of the month chores down here, and then I'll reflect on this week right here. So there you go. That's it. So hopefully, I don't know, hopefully that made sense. I know I probably talked a little bit fast for those people that are new to the MakseLife system. Like I said, I'm going on 4 years in it, so I'm very comfortable in this system. If you guys have any questions, you're new to the system, you're new to the whole idea of weekly actions and reflections, please, please, please jot down any questions you have below or find me over on Instagram. I love, 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 love this company, this planner, this system. I've been in it since day one. I've been in ClubMakse since day one, and I am like a huge advocate for this system right here. So I will be more than happy to chat all of the things regarding this system. And so again, if you have any questions, drop them down below or feel free to find me on Instagram and we can chat over there a little bit more in private as well. But thank you guys so much for watching all of this with me, and I can't wait to see what my next 12 weeks kind of rolls out to be. But thank you again for hanging out with me, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.